A few nights ago, I was laying in my bed on my phone scrolling on TikTok. I really had no idea how long I'd been on there, but I was fine with that. Soon I got a TikTok generated video saying, "Hey, you've been scrolling for a long time. Maybe it's time to stop scrolling and get some sleep," or something along those lines. Although this happened to me on TikTok, maybe you've had a similar experience with a different app. Either way, as teenagers, I'm sure we've all spent a generous amount of time online. The question is this okay? Is this normal? And should we be fine with spending long amounts of time staring at a screen? My topic today is about the impact that social media has on someone's mental health. I am credible to speak about this topic because of my hours of research. There are 3 main points that I will discuss in the body of my speech. First, I will identify the problems that are associated with mental health and social media. My second point will analyze the causes of these problems, and finally, my third point will present a solution to the problems that arise because of social media intake. Let's begin with the problem of social media intake on your mental health. My first main point will identify the problems that are associated with social media intake and how that affects your mental health. While this speech will cover a vast area of age-based research, I will begin with adolescents, or people ages 13 to 18. According to a 2020 article published in the North Carolina Medical Journal by Jacqueline Nessie, any complete understanding of contemporary adolescents' mental health requires a consideration of the role of social media. The article defines social media as any digital tool or application that allows users to interact socially and can be distinguished from traditional media like television by the fact that users can consume and create the content. According to a 2020 article published in the Journal of Computers and Human Behavior by Sarah Coney, Adam Rogers, Jessica Zurcher, Laura Stockdale, and McCall Booth, research suggests that one problem is that the current generation, those born 1995 or later, show greater degrees of depression, loneliness, sleep deprivation, and avoidance of adult roles compared to generations before. These trends appeared around the same time that smartphones became popular, leading researchers to believe that time specifically spent using new media, which includes social media, might account for the sharp increase in mental health issues. According to a 2018 article published in the Psychiatric Quarterly by Chloe Berryman, Christopher Ferguson, and Charles Nagy, the idea that how someone uses social media may be more crucial than the actual exposure to the social media. For example, research indicates that if a user is using social media for negative social comparison, this can lead to later depression. On the other hand, if a user uses social media in a positive way, like authentic self-presentation, they are associated with positive well-being in users. While this research may be true, it would be much harder for younger users to differentiate the differences in these methods of social media, especially if they are being influenced by the content that they see. In addition, it would be a bigger problem for someone who's already struggling with mental health. They might find it harder to display themselves online while they are viewing their media that's full of people who are displaying romanticized positive behavior. Now that you are familiar with the problems revolving social media and mental health, I will now move on to my next area of discussion. Research shows that there is a significant negative effect of social media use on mental health. The research must indicate the answer to how and why. My second main point will analyze the causes of these negative effects and hopefully answer these questions. One cause of the negative relationship between social media and mental health comes from a 2020 article published in the journal PLOS1 by Amir Yazdavar, William Romine, and Annie Myers. It states that many people often reveal their, quote, ideal self, or the person that they want to be, on social media. The person's profile, posts, and pictures can sometimes be used as a window to view the person's mental health. The expression of visual imagery is easy and natural and can serve as a way to view depressive symptoms in vulnerable people who usually seek social support through social media. Because these users portray their ideal selves on social media, they may use comparison more than the average user. This would have negative effects on their mental health because they view the social support given to others who may have more positive content and compare this to their own content and social support from others. According to a 2017 article published in the Journal of Applied Developmental Psychology by Jacqueline Nessie, Adam Miller, and Mitchell Prinstein, one of the main causes of negative mental health in relation to social media is the number of features online that create the potential for different behaviors. Communication on social media is often very public, allowing the user's request for reassurance or feedback to instantaneously reach a vast number of people. Furthermore, communication over social media is immediate and accessible from any location, which can create a constant loop of feedback that heightens the number and intensity of social comparisons. Although some researchers say that it is a user's screen time that causes mental health harm, authors Jonathan Haidt and Nick Allen in a 2020 article in the journal Nature say that correlations with depression are much larger when only analyzing time spent on social media. They go on to say that this is much higher when it comes to girls. The authors say, quote, "Girls use social media much more than boys do. And for girls more than boys, social life and status tend to revolve around the intimacy and inclusion versus exclusion, making them more vulnerable to both the fear of missing out and the relational aggression that social media facilitates," end quote. Since you now know about some of the causes of poor mental health because of social media, I will now move on to some solutions. My final main point will address some of the solutions to a user's poor mental health due to their social media intake. In theory, the less social media intake that a person has, the better their mental health will be. But this can vary depending on someone's age, pre-existing mental health, and other factors. The first solution that I will be talking about is limiting one's time on social media. According to a 2018 article published in the Journal of Youth and Adolescence by Jasmine Farduli, Natasha Magson, and Carly Johnco, setting rules that limits one's time spent on social media platforms is commonly referred to as restrictive mediation. This often occurs when parents restrict their child's time on social media, and that is known as parental mediation. Research from the article shows that rules regarding access to social media exists in most families. Parents who control or reduce their kids' time on social media are either trying to limit social comparison to others or trying to get their kids to engage in activities outside of social media, like physical activity. Although this specific research is targeted towards children and their parents, there are many applications and ways to limit one's social media intake. Another solution is to use positive mental health boosting apps in place of social media on a regular basis. I don't think it would be feasible to say that cutting out social media is entirely a solid solution, but the use of positive apps may help users feel that they are being productive while still being on their phone. According to a 2018 article published in the Journal of Medical Internet Research by Courtney Beard, Alexandra Silverman, and Taylor Wilmer, a research study found that, quote, "Participants endorsed using general smartphone apps to support their mental health. Specifically, participants rated healthcare, calendar, and texting apps as the most supportive of their mental health, whereas most participants rated social media apps as negatively affecting their health," end quote. The study also found that 70% of participants used mental health apps for mindfulness or meditation. In conclusion, today I talked about the whole topic of social media and mental health. There were 3 main points that I focused on in the body of my speech. First, I identified the problems that can arise when social media negatively affects someone's mental health. My second point analyzed the causes of poor mental health due to social media. And finally, my third point of discussion looked at some of the solutions to this problem. If you feel that social media negatively impacts your mental health, it might benefit you to try some of the solutions I mentioned today. Another way to positively benefit yourself and others is to be mindful of your profile, posts, and communication on social media. Although social media has many ins and outs, it's important in any aspect of life to stay mentally healthy. This may mean setting app time limits for yourself, spending time outside, or like me, learning to stop scrolling on TikTok for 4 hours at 2 a.m. Thank you.